friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video I am going to explain you some important questions for Pharmacology 2. In Pharmacology 2, most probably they ask you the classification and its pharmacology. So in 10 marks concept they may ask you the pharmacology of histamine, prostaglandin, NSAIDs. In that they particularly they ask you the aspirin pharmacology, cardioglycosides definition and pharmacology of digitalis, and antihypertensive drugs and antihyperlipidemic drugs pharmacology. Whenever they ask you the pharmacology, you must explain its classification, then you have to explain its mechanism of action, how the drug is going to bind on particular site or particular receptors. Then you have to write its pharmacology. In some cases of drugs, some drugs may causes in smooth muscles, they may cause you the relaxation. In some drugs it has effect on the cardiovascular system or CNS system. You have to write that. Then next you have to explain the pharmacokinetics, ADME process, that is absorption, distribution, metabolism and elimination. So in absorption, some drugs may rapidly absorb, so some slow process, metabolization, some drugs excreted through the urine, some drugs excreted through bile. You have to write that. Next thing you have to write that uses and its adverse effects. Then you have to write contraindication. Some drugs are not suitable for particular patients and some drugs are not suitable in the pregnancy. That is, you have to write in the contraindication. Whichever drug is not suitable for a particular disease, you have to write that. Next you have to write the drug interaction. Some drugs are having some drug interaction, some drugs are not having a drug interaction. Whenever there is a necessity or important to write the drug interaction, you have to write that. Next topic is bioassay. In bioassay, in previous question paper they asked the principles which are involved in the bioassay, and some question paper they may ask you the bioassay definition, applications, advantages and disadvantages. In sometimes they may ask you the particular drugs bioassay, digitalis, D tuberculin, insulin, oxytocin, histamine, vasopressin, ADH. So you have to write the principle of that particular drugs. Then you have to explain which animal, some drugs having some animals are used in the particular drugs. So you have to write that how it's going to act, and procedures you have to write in the, whenever they ask you the bioassay of digitalis like that, you have to write that. This is for the 10 marks concept. Now let's see the 5 marks concepts. So in 5 marks concept they most probably asked the classification and pharmacology. In previous year paper, from the previous year papers, I have listed some drugs. So these are the important drugs they asked in the question papers. So whatever I marked in the star, it is very important. They repeatedly asked in the question paper. Insulin is very important. They may ask you the pharmacology of insulin, hydrocortisone, digitoxin and heparin, methotrexate and propylthiouracil. It is very important. They asked repeated question it is. Then next, ACE inhibitor, nitroglycerin, vasodilators, diuretics and calcium channel blockers, loop diuretics, warfarin, histamine. Warfarin in histamine also very important. Aspirin also, it is very important. Next concept they may ask you the difference between the heparin and warfarin, the classification of anti-diabetics and oral hypoglycemic agents classification, diuretic classification, anti-thyroid drugs and the thyroid hormone synthesis. The 4 steps will be there. You have to explain that. Warfarin and heparin very important in 5 marks concepts, and anti-diabetics also. Some particular drug they may ask you directly write its pharmacology. Then diuretics also important in 5 marks. Anti-thyroid and thyroid hormone synthesis very important. So like that, if you are going to study, means pharmacology 2 is very easy. Marks concepts they may ask you the pharmacology of oral contraceptives and steroids examples, anabolic steroids examples, classification of some drugs, uses, bioassay definition or principles, like that they may ask you. Or in description box you can check the 2 marks question solved PDF you can download from the description box. Don't make the pharmacology 2 as a complicated subject or the lengthy subject. It is very easiest. If you learn from the least one side the classification of all drugs, then study about its mechanism of action, pharmacology uses, and some important drugs if you study means you can easily score in the pharmacology too. So thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe my channel.